It is 8:19 now, and a big takeaway from last night's political races. Democrats have taken control of the United States House. Republicans keep the Senate, but this matters. And joining us live to talk about why it matters, especially for the future of the president, is Congressman Steve Cohen, the Democrat out of Memphis. And how does it matter, Congressman, for the president? The president's already come out saying, hey, don't investigate me.
Well, he'll be investigated because that's the way the process is supposed to work. I brought this hat along.
Though? Investigate what?
I brought this hat along because that's the way America's supposed to work.
What are we investigating?
We're going to investigate emoluments clause violations. He's supposed to come to the Congress before he takes money from foreign powers and ask for permission. He hasn't done it, and he's taken hundreds of millions of dollars from Saudis, Kuwaitis, Chinese, you name it. We're going to investigate interference with the election in Russia, which Devin Nunes didn't let go very far in the intelligence, and will go far and with Adam Schiff. And that's what's supposed to happen. America won last night. We have a system of checks and balances. And the public, the United States electorate, voted the House of Representatives in with the particular purpose to put a check on Donald Trump. And the investigations are what you're supposed to have. That's what the House does. And the House is going to look into his taxes, which will be revealed because there's a statute that allows the committee to do it. And that'll happen. And the American public needs to see if there is Russian money that has influenced his actions.
So you're saying that the Congress is going to ask and demand to see President Trump's tax returns?
Oh, yes, and Congress has that right. And the Republicans stymied it because they were basically the House of Trump. The House of Representatives is known as the People's House. Every member is elected by the citizenry. Nobody's appointed. You're all elected and elected every 2 years. The People's House is now the People's House. It's not Trump's house. And it will be a check and balance, and that's what the American public wants, and that's what the American public needs.
But you know, the president is a fighter. He's already coming out saying, you know, essentially there'll be consequences if this happens. So do you expect that kind of partisan fighting to intensify in Washington now?
I think that's the only thing the president knows how to do. He's going to have an opportunity to have some success. He didn't have many legislative successes. The Democrats will want to work with him on an infrastructure bill. And we are in favor of improving our roads and our bridges and our infrastructure, our basic water supply, like we saw in Flint, Michigan, and other places where we need infrastructure. We want to work with him on prescription drug prices. And he said he's for reducing prescription prices. Well, we'll get him a bill. We got to work with the Senate, too, and the Senate's going to have a different perspective, but that's an issue that people saw. And protecting health care for people and protecting people who have pre-existing conditions. Everybody should have an opportunity in our country to have health care. And we did it with the Affordable Care Act. It needed to be improved. It will be improved upon. The American public wants people with pre-existing conditions to be protected and not be left to die. And that's what you have if you don't have insurance.
I got to ask you this before you go. What about articles of impeachment? You've already done that.
I have, and I don't think the Senate stays a Republican, even stronger Republican. I don't think that's a likelihood to occur unless Robert Mueller shows some evidence of direct involvement in Russia, and I think he could, but we'll have to see what he does, and we'll need to protect Robert Mueller if he's still around. I think you'll see some pink slips go out for Jeff Sessions and maybe Rod Rosenstein. I think there'll be some dangers to the Mueller investigation, and we need to protect it, but there's still 2 months with the House Republicans in charge, and the president, I think, will be up to some skullduggery.
Well, I'm sure the members of your party are somewhat happy this morning, back in control in the House.
Well, I'm happy. I'll be a subcommittee chairman, more likely than not. I have more seniority and have the ability to bring home more products and goods for Memphis. And I want to thank all the voters of Memphis for re-electing me. We got 80% last night. That's the largest total I've ever gotten against a Republican. Had 90% in the primary, which is the largest I've ever had in a primary. So I just thank my voters, and I thank my people in my office downtown and in Washington. Team Cohen produces for Memphis.
The Cohen train rolls on, Congressman. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with Cohen. And we'll be right back.